call this meeting to order at 7:01. So welcome everybody to August. It's scary to think it's the end of the summer, but I know I saw school buses this morning, so
Yeah.
some people went back to school. So first thing to do is to welcome first meeting with our new interim director. So Jean Collins, welcome.
Thank you.
Yay, we're excited.
Welcome.
As you guys all know, Jean started on Monday and is quickly meeting everybody in the library. She's learned HVAC stuff already, so she's quickly learning and picking up on a lot of the open items. So welcome.
Thank you.
We're not expecting her to really answer many questions today, but if you have any input, feel free to speak up. And if anyone has questions, they'll ask you. But
Okay.
right, she's only day 3.
Yeah, I'm happy to give you a little quick overview if you want, but any of the meaty questions.
Yep.
I have Kim for the
And-
invoices. I went through them, so I know what we're paying. A couple of times I wasn't sure what something was, so I
Yep.
asked Eileen because I'm not familiar with certain companies. But
Okay.
you know,
We should add back on the agenda like a director update
Yeah.
or interim director
Yeah.
update.
And next time I'll have.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Awesome. If you could put your,
Oh yeah,
So everyone
good
can
point.
hear
You need to kind of
everyone.
talk. It just needs to be more towards you,
yeah,
so
it's
that
on.
they can hear.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh, I guess that's.
yeah, there you go. Great. So moving on the agenda, we're going to go through some minutes. We have 3 minutes to approve, so I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the meeting minutes of June 18th, 2025.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded by Aaron. Any discussion?
One brief is that if could be added that no quorum of the trustees was reached.
I don't remember. I'm trying to look through it.
There's only 3 people.
Yeah,
There's only 3 because
yeah,
Dean
right.
was not
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the board at that.
Just so if there's any question of what a quorum would have otherwise been. So,
Okay.
and that's all.
So in addition to no deliberation took place at the event, just say no quorum was reached.
Yep.
With that change, any other discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving with that change?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I declare the motion carried. And we don't have Prabhu yet?
That's why I was raising my hand. So he's here and,
Can you hear us, Prabhu? Actually, you might not be able to speak unless you give him as an attendee
let me see.
or a panelist. I'm sorry.
Panelists. Maybe
Oh, we
ask,
see him.
I see a
maybe
picture.
maybe ask him if he would have otherwise voted yes or.
Prabhu, sorry we didn't catch you. I assume you were listening to that one, so I think I have to do a vote by roll call for you.
I can hear you now. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Yep.
And it doesn't allow me to come on the camera for some reason.
Okay. Did you hear the motion for approving?
Yes.
Okay, so just vote by roll call and just say your name and say aye.
Prabhu,
Okay, great.
And I
Do I
think
need
you
to do
need.
all of us?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
That's what I thought.
Just want to go around. I can go.
Yeah, so just FYI, since we have somebody on Zoom, then we have to do all the votes by roll call. So Prabhu said aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, aye.
Chris, I.
Aaron, I.
Okay, I declare the motion carried. Thank you.
We'll get really
promote the
fast at that.
Yes.
All right. I move that we approve the draft meeting minutes of July 23rd, 2025.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes.
This was our last month's meeting.
Okay. And I didn't get a chance to double back with you, Kim, because I had initially read these in fast fashion and then took a more slow approach at dinner time tonight. And so under ongoing business, second page 5C, there's the 4th bullet point that we voted to authorize up to 10,000 from leads. And that was based on Doug's motion and Rachel's second on that, if that could be added or incorporated into that, and it was voted unanimously.
Can you repeat that? It was Doug's.
It was Doug's motion and Rachel's second on that vote. So that's 5C, fourth bullet point, the final bullet point down. And on the next agenda item 5D, final bullet point down, the board voted to authorize payment from state aid. I made the motion, Carrie seconded, and that was a 6-0 unanimous vote. And on page 3, the final agenda item 8C, regarding the ARIS report responsibilities that Doug oversaw that discussion. The motion to appoint Mary Mertland as acting director with 1 abstention. Doug declared the motion carried. I don't know who made the motion and second. I usually write these little scribble notes. So,
I'll go back. And
all right, thank you. And then, and the same on 8I, which actually goes to the top of page 5. So you flip 2 pages later, there was it had to do with resurrecting the parking lot policy from what had been inactive. It had been taken down. And so I don't know who made the motion and second on on that particular item.
I will look.
Yeah, I don't want to guess.
Yeah,
No,
I don't want to guess
no,
either.
No.
Yep.
And then lastly, all right, so what I did is I filled in the gap on 13 adjournment, okay? That was taken out of order to be the last item in open session. So it reads executive session called at meeting closed 9:41 to discuss potential director candidates. So what the meeting didn't close, the open session did. And so that would really need to read that I made a motion that we enter executive session. Aaron seconded it. And then we voted 6-0 to go into executive session. Now, if I could pause, when we went into executive session, I agreed to take the minutes for that executive session, so there will be a separate set of executive session minutes. All right, that will show that we went in and then we adjourned executive session, came out of it. So the next thing really is following executive session. Pardon.
I think then we just would have adjourned from the meeting.
Yeah, motion made by Rachel and seconded by Prabhu to adjourn.
Should we just hold this one off till next time if there's like a few edits and stuff we need, like,
I think
or
this is
that
it, right?
pretty well it?
I mean, we could, I'm not sure what you're getting at.
No, I just didn't know if there was like more, if that was like.
I think if that's it,
Oh, if that's
that's
then
it.
we'll-
That was it. In other words, that's the very end of the meeting. In other
Okay.
words, so what happens is there's an intentional gap that will be filled by the executive session minutes that we finally approve when we deem them no longer needing to have privilege because of the nature of the discussion. So really following executive session, motion made by Rachel to adjourn, seconded by Prabhu, and then we adjourned the actual meeting at 10 p.m.
At 10.
Sorry for the last minute edits as far as,
And if you have any questions, obviously you can go back and watch
Yeah.
the recording.
which I hate to have to put you through. I usually
They're so exciting.
have my chicken scratch in there that would have filled in the gaps, but I mustn't have been on my game. So
Thank you.
That was a
thank
little-
you.
Any other discussion on the meeting minutes?
And so that was approved 6-0 as far as the, yeah.
So then we're voting to approve the minutes given, I counted 3, maybe 4 changes. You got those?
I have them.
Okay. By roll call, Prabhu, you want to go first?
Prabhu, aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the draft minutes of the meeting of August 4th, 2025.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes,
My question was really, does this group approve the minutes? Or does the subcommittee approve the minutes?
Oh,
this wasn't the subcommittee though, this
No.
is the whole committee.
This is the whole
Us
committee.
with-
Oh.
This is
Voted in,
us,
Jean.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
It's not the sub-
Never mind.
Um,
Scratch that.
But, I was there and I'm not listed as in attendance. So if you wouldn't mind adding me in.
Sorry.
That's okay, thank you.
I see, this is, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I was thinking it was the other.
and I was partying in Canada that night, so sorry.
Any other discussion? All right, so the motion is to approve the minutes with the addition of adding Carrie in attendance, by roll call. Prabhu,
Prabhu, I.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Next on the agenda are the bills. We've got warrants 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
All right, Mr. Chair, I make a procedural motion that we, vote warrants 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 as a consent agenda as one vote.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded.
Chris got that one.
Chris got that one first.
Yeah.
Any discussion? If not, hearing none, vote by roll call. Prabhu,
Prabhu, I.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. It's a lot easier when we have like this big circle and you're not looking at a Zoom, like trying to figure out who to go next.
So, Mr. Chair.
So, any discussion?
Oh, no, you should have done the discussion before we approved.
No, that was
That
just,
was a procedural motion.
that was just a vote by
Okay.
consent.
And so, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve warrant number 4 in the amount of $9,042.88, from the, sources noted in the meeting packet.
Are you gonna go through all four?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. And warrant number, that's, warrant number, okay. Warrant number 5 in the amount of $5,579.20, as noted in the meeting packet. The sources, warrant number 6 in the amount of $18,204.94, from the sources noted in the meeting packet. Warrant number 7 for $6,214, as noted, from the funds as noted in the meeting packet. And lastly, warrant number 8 in the amount of $3,430.87, from the sources noted in the meeting packet.
Great.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on any of the 5 warrants? My
Mr.
own
Chair,
comment-
a
my
quick
own-
question.
Yep, go ahead, Prabhu.
Are these all part of, in the budget? Can we have that confirmation, or are these,
Yeah,
Or the budget.
the warrants are all the ones from within budget, yes.
Okay.
The ones that are outside of the budget are what we're gonna be voting on next. And so some of them, like, the big ticket item, some of them are from the library budget and some of them are, from the building construction, right? Some of the HVAC invoices, those are all included in these warrants and defined in the warrants themselves.
thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, vote by roll call.
Prabhu, I.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Next on the agenda is ongoing business. So we do have a series of invoices that we need to go through and approve. Some of them, I think the majority of them are likely going to be coming from state aid, but not all of them. We were going to have Ken Boutit, I think is how you say his name, from Renaud.
Boudiette.
Boudiette, thank you. So Ken, I'm sorry, myself, Jean, Ken, and Tom from Renaud, we met yesterday. Was that just yesterday? It was just yesterday. So we met yesterday and they've gone through Kim working with them have gone through, and we can circulate this later, but basically just a kind of a log of all these different activities. As you guys know, there's 5 or 6 different incidents over the last year that they've been taking care of. We met with them, trying to understand, is this like a system design issue? Is it a something that was incorrectly installed, or is it just normal failures, that you can expect? And I think the overall kind of high level was that a combination of everything. Certainly the compressors and the condensers aren't expected to fail that quickly, but those are the things that are covered under warranty. So we have not been paying for the replacement of those, but we've been paying for the labor to replace those. So that still adds up. I think at the end, Gene, you can chime in. They are going to reach out to LG again and have them try to give an assessment of the system design. They've already been out once, but they want to try to look to see if LG has any, overarching recommendations. I think that's going to be the next step from our perspective. Now, we do have, of course, a number of existing invoices that we need to go through and approve.
So, Mr. Chair, quick question. So, as far as the warranties and things, so none of the labor is covered at all?
No,
Oh, that stinks.
it does stink.
Okay. That adds up. But at least we have a hyper-local vendor, so.
Correct.
One other question, Doug.
Yep.
I'm assuming that the warranty is reset with the install of each new unit, or is it from the point of original purchase?
That's
I don't
a
know if
good-
that varies.
That's a good question.
Okay.
I was guessing it was from the original purchase, but
Okay.
that would be something we'd have to ask.
Okay.
They did say the warranty was 10 years, so we're
Okay,
kind of
either
in the
way,
middle.
got it.
We're in the
Okay.
middle of
Either way.
the 10-year warranty period.
So,
I would love to have, if there was another trustee that was willing to kind of jump on and help us review all of this stuff, just for a second pair of eyes, if anyone has any interest. Otherwise, we're just going to wait for Renaud to come back and give us like an overview of what their ongoing discussions are with LG. Okay.
you're probably thinking, don't all answer at once,
I know.
right?
I'm like, I
That's
want
just-
to step forward so someone steps back or whatever the other option.
Yeah.
No.
I would like to, just the fall is not a good time.
Yep. Yep.
So, my question is, and we're gonna review, item B in just a moment, right?
Correct.
I think it would be interesting to see the dates on these. Do we happen to know what they are generally? Because you almost think like, well, why do you pay preventative maintenance if you have 3 service calls? Like, and that's the most expensive piece of it.
Yep.
Right.
So,
I can speak to that a little.
Yeah.
The preventative maintenance they do twice a year, cleaning out the filters. So the other items were outside of that. This is something that's
The other items were actually failures, like failures of a board, which I don't think really would have necessarily been caught for
Yes.
preventative maintenance, right?
I gotcha.
Or compressor or condenser.
Yeah.
it's cleaning out the filters and things like that.
That's very helpful, thank you. It's not running the system through its paces, checking the electronics and making sure there's, no warning lights and failures and stuff, doing that deep diagnostic maybe that LG would do, or that somebody
Well, they
who's
do.
not kind of doing routine maintenance.
So they do review there's a web console that gives you like history of warning and all that stuff. They do review that, and they they do send that to LG if there's any warnings, so that LG can give some advice coming back. So that is part of their service.
So,
But-
so they're looking at it, and part of the preventative maintenance goes, okay, you probably need X, Y, and Z done, so I'll kick off service calls for that or whatever that might be.
Correct.
Better than nobody ever looking at it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their comment was it's probably $1 million system,
Yeah,
and this is a small percentage to keep it running type thing.
yeah,
I don't know if we've seen the benefits, because the things that are happening are kind of unexpected failures.
Yeah.
Of like a whole unit type thing.
I think if I could just, with this discussion, it's different teams of people who do different things too. So preventive maintenance team is looking for certain things, but then they talked about their specialty engineers or whatever looking at some of the other elements, so it's separate from the preventive.
Yep.
So I just had a question. So the 5,500 preventative maintenance, that wasn't included in the budget, so that's something that we have to find funding for?
Correct. Correct. And that's half a year. I think that's only half the year. So the full
Okay. So we
annual
need to make
is
sure we budget
twice
for
that.
that for next year.
Correct.
So what funds, I noticed on all of these lists, are they coming from the same funds? It says, please identify which account this should be paid from, I guess, for the motion and discussion.
Can we use leads money for this? Is
I
this-
think for the repairs, I would suggest the leads monies, like, second, third, and fourth one, but the preventative maintenance, that's something that would have been should have been in our annual budget. So that one I would suggest maybe, state aid.
So operating the library for the past, let's say, almost 5 years in the new configuration, they're just doing preventive maintenance now? Is it you said twice a year, right? So it's almost like we had problems
good
and
question.
they said, you should probably be on preventative maintenance,
Right away.
because like I would assume that the past 5 years we would be paying this out of the budget.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, as we know, the last director budget kind of, right, he came in right at June, so he didn't really have much input to that
Yeah.
budget. So I think that's why he got left off this current fiscal year. I mean, sorry, the last fiscal year and this current fiscal year.
Yeah.
So we would expect to see a maintenance agreement
Yes.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Or we've been paying it,
all right.
board has been paying for it for the past 5 years.
So,
Right? This seems like a new item to me.
so would
I
it
don't
be,
think we've been paying for it for the past 4 years. So
Right.
I think those first 4 years we didn't have it.
Either it wasn't being done,
I don't
or
think
it was
so.
being paid out of the budget.
Yeah. That would be a good question to ask as well.
is there any reason we wouldn't want to pay this tonight? Or that what would be
We have to
achieved by,
pay it.
what would be achieved by kicking the can down the road another month?
It's already been done, hasn't it?
Well, I think the
Yeah.
only reason to do that would be is if it comes out of the budget
Right.
or we've been paying for it in the past. Right, that's the only question on the table,
Yep.
where it gets paid from.
And I would propose out of state aid because I don't think we have the budget in our maintenance budget.
Yep.
5,500 and another, and then we're expecting another 5,500, right? So,
This is for the second half of the year.
Oh, okay.
So we wouldn't get the next one until January.
So, Mr. Chair, are you ready to entertain a motion?
I am.
All right, I move that, the board, approve the Renat HVAC invoice number 55869 for $5,500 to be paid from state aid.
second,
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions? Hearing none. By roll call. Prabhu,
Prabhu, aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, I.
Carrie, aye.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. The next three, I think, so what are you running? Yeah, those were all the service calls. I think the next three we could, do, well, we'll just do them individually so we don't do the consent agenda. Never mind, sorry.
You could do consent agenda. I don't see why not,
Okay,
unless
because I think the next three we can
it's out of the same
propose
source.
out of leads.
All right, Mr. Chair, I move that we, pay Renat HVAC invoices number $5,613
Nope, that's the
Oh.
invoice number.
invoice, I'm sorry. So wait a minute, am I doing a procedural motion?
Yeah, first
All right,
do-
I'm sorry. I withdraw my partial motion. I move that we, procedural motion that we take, the next three items, from Renat HVAC as a consent agenda as a single vote.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call, Prabhu? Any
Prabhu,
questions?
aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, I.
Carrie, aye.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move that we pay the following three invoices from Renat HVAC from the Leeds account. Invoice number 56013 in the amount of $3,836.88. Invoice number 5,6067 in the amount of $3,929. and invoice number 56074 in the amount of $2,153.06.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on these?
I would just like to say, fantastic job, Roger, with all of this. You're doing quite well.
No, can I tell you? I'm the Wednesday version of Mark Alamo.
Yeah.
That's a shout out to the
Oh, just-
select board clerk.
just do that.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's the guy. So I'm
Ah.
I'm Mark tonight. So
Funny.
No other discussion or hearing none. Vote by roll call.
Prabhu, aye.
Rachel, I-
Prabhu, aye.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Moving down the list, the next one is CAVT Solutions. You'll recall this was the repair of one of the video HDMI outlets in the community room that allows us to have these big presentations. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the invoice number 65175 for the repair of the HDMI outlet in the community room from CAVT Solutions in the amount of $1,140 to be paid out of state aid money.
second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions, discussion on this?
Do we want to do that out of state aid or out of Leeds? Because it's,
I think this is more appropriate out of state aid, personally. But
I agree. That's why I mentioned it that way.
any other comments? Okay. Hearing none, vote by roll call.
Prabhu, aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. Lots of motions here. So the next one is the ServPro invoices. So this was, you'll recall that the capital campaign paid for replacing the flooring in the teen gaming room. During that process, it was discovered that one of the walls had considerable mold on it, so we had to have ServPro come in. They assessed it, they remediated, they took took some of the wallboard down so they can see where the mold was coming from. They didn't see any issues behind it, and then of course the second piece is to replace it. So
I think these could probably be leads, I would think, for its repair of a building.
yeah, my only thought of that is that yeah, it's a good question. We don't really know where the mold came from, like if the leak came from outside or the leak came from inside.
Mm-hmm.
Does that impact whether it can be leads?
Well, I mean, the leads is the idea with the leads is it's something that originated with the renovation project, right? Like the HVAC was part of that renovation project, so we're paying for that. This seems more like just a building maintenance type issue. So, I mean, I personally see two options. One would be that we could pay for it out of state aid. The second option is we could defer it a month and we can request funding from the capital campaign. It's not really a capital campaign, right? Because it's not kind of like a building permanent thing, but it was discovered as part of the project. But they might decline it as well. So,
I still feel strongly about it being a leads item,
okay.
you know, but
If
somebody
the
wants to mention a different source, then fine.
Yeah, I mean, if the board agrees, we can propose it, and then the only thing would be if the town came back and disagreed.
So let me ask you this. Not to go down a rabbit hole, but when we are lead certified and all the things that go into leads, what guidance, what document or documents do we have as guidance as to what is included and what is excluded for such leads? It seems like we just put our heads together, and I think we guess reasonably and in good faith that this is related to things that would otherwise fall under leads. But what have we ever sought guidance, or are there any documents that guide boards of library trustees in these matters? Or any board for that matter. Doesn't have to be a library building. Could be any
Yeah, so
building.
from my my perspective, what I understand is the town took out the bond to pay for the project, right? The 16 point whatever $1 million.
Yeah.
They, they have the bond that's paying for that. The leads money is like a reimbursement, so it's a reimbursement into that account. So it just goes back into that construction account. I think technically the town could, it should be for the library because that's what that whole account is for.
Right.
Do we even have purview over that money? I thought we did.
In the past, the town administrator, and maybe we should meet with the town administrator again. The town administrator always wanted to see the approval come from the board.
Yeah.
For those expenses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could we slightly shift the motion to be, like, we approve it with leads, but if that's not the right source, then state aid, like, could we do a two-part?
I think they would just.
I think they would just
kick it back.
They would
and
just
we-
decline
Oh,
and kick
okay.
it back to us. Yeah.
Again.
I
Yeah.
just didn't know if it would, like, delay the payment too much. I don't know, like, when the payment's due, if that.
I don't think we have to worry about
I,
that.
Mr. Chair, I think we've deliberated these types of funding sources when we've identified leads as a source in a good faith and thoughtful manner.
Yep.
And so even if it kind of falls on the periphery, I'm not too concerned. I don't think anyone could fault us if it kind of sort of somewhat fell outside of exactly that which we typically see as leads.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
I don't think it's a restricted.
It's not a restricted account.
Right. It's more just if the town agrees with us or not.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's my impression as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I think that.
Yep. Kim?
Just one question. I know these invoices need to be paid in 30 days. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. I mean, if we approve it tonight and the town has no issues, then yeah, it would get paid. Yep.
Can I make it's not a comment. It might not be relevant, I'm not sure, but sometimes if you're talking about the town capital account,
It's not a town
it's not
capital
a town,
account.
because
It's
those
a,
have to be a certain amount, like
it's not a
usually
capital.
anything under 10,000 doesn't, you have to.
Right. Yeah. In this case, it's not a capital
Okay,
account.
thank you.
All right. Hearing no other discussion, vote by roll call. Prabhu?
I don't think we have a motion.
We don't have
Oh.
a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We were just talking about it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve ServPro invoice number 25-02211 in the amount of $3,396.73 from the Leeds account.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Vote by roll call. Prabhu?
Right?
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. Thank you. And then the
Can
second
can I
one.
make one suggestion, Mr. Chair?
Yep.
For the future motions, can we have the motion first before we have the discussions?
Yeah, that was my fault. I was thinking we already had the motion. Sorry.
I think the reason why we did that is because we wanted to talk about the funding sources before we had a motion determining
To
which
determine
source.
which source,
So, so I think that's appropriate, right? It's an agenda item.
Yep. Okay.
So I think we can have discussion and then we can discuss the motion afterwards too.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope you don't mind me just saying that, probably.
No, it makes sense
It
because we
makes
didn't
sense.
know which funding source to make the motion in the first place.
We're just trying to confuse you, Prabhu.
Do I have a
Only
motion?
for today.
Do I have a motion for the second invoice?
I move that we approve ServPro invoice. Oh, wait a minute.
Not as-
That's a proposal.
That's a proposal. Wait a minute. It's not an
Oh.
invoice.
Yeah.
So,
That's,
Okay. I
thought they already-
they did send the invoice, but it came in after I submitted this.
Okay.
It
So
is for 2,000. I just don't happen to have that number.
So they've done this work already?
Yes.
they've already completed
It
the work.
is
We can
completed.
still approve the invoice then, even though we don't have the invoice number.
so would you
Can't we?
request an up to amount? Do we know approximately?
It's 2,000.
I think it's.
Oh, it's exactly
2,000.
2,000. Yeah, I think it's within the scope of the agenda to vote on this, even though we don't have an
Yep.
even though it doesn't say invoice. So I move that we vote to fund and pay the $2,000 invoice, the ServPro invoice related to the rebuild of the teen gaming room wall priming and painting from, is that also Leeds?
Yes.
From Leeds.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. You're up, Prabhu.
Prabhu, aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. Isn't this really exciting for those members of the audience? Next up for invoices is the American Alarm invoices. So, I don't know, Kim, do you want to go through the history of that or just?
Yes, I can speak to that. The American Alarm invoice 1662646 that was for the corrupted panel in the main entrance. I don't know if you remember, but it was going off continuously. We had the fire department come. They were called several times to shut that off. So American Alarm came and they did repair that for us. And that is the amount, $838.
So I just have a question. So I noticed both of these items for $838. Is that like is that the cost of like an on-site like visit? Is it like that the labor cost?
And it includes the truck, for the
fuel.
gas, the
Yeah.
fuel,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
so basically, if they have to come on site to fix something, that's the set
It's
charge.
pretty standard.
So there
yes.
wasn't like the corrupted security panel like that maybe was under warranty, but it's the actual visit to fix it.
Yes.
And I think it's a total coincidence that they're the same dollar amount. Right?
Yeah, I thought that was a little strange too. I had to look at that twice,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Maybe the same,
So-
come from the same place.
I mean, it's probably the same hourly
Same
rate,
person,
probably,
yeah.
so.
So would that be state aid? And what is the state aid balance? We're not in the
No.
red on that, are we?
No, the state aid is, I think, did you get that recently?
Oh, because that carries over. It isn't only
Tried to
the,
give it to you and then I didn't bring it with me.
Okay.
I think it's pretty healthy.
I think
Okay.
it's upwards of 75K or even.
oh, okay, I didn't know
It
how,
might even be 90.
It might even be higher than that, yeah.
I keep on thinking I'm in the prior fiscal year, but,
Yep.
but then it carries over anyway, so.
Correct.
So it doesn't zero out, okay.
No, we get more.
Would it be possible to start looking at the available trusts at the board meetings? Kim?
Yes.
'Cause I know we used to get that at some point.
Yeah, I met with Mary yesterday and we started going through, like, she had 3 screens up and looking.
Yeah,
back
because
over
I
the
think just
payroll.
having
There's a lot
that
of things
at
to
our
read. I'll
fingertips
definitely
would be
have that.
fantastic during these
Yeah.
meetings. Thank you very
Can send
much.
it in the packet, too.
So that's just
Balances, too.
a monthly
Just
balance from Mary.
State aid
All right.
and everything, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just note that there was a note on 5D in last month's agenda that notes those balances in the last bullet point.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Great.
Oh, good, thank you.
thanks.
So I will entertain a motion to pay these invoices.
I'll yield.
I'll make a motion to approve invoices number 1662646 in the amount of $838 from state aid money, and invoice number 1670355 in the amount of $838 for out of state aid money.
Motion made.
Just a question. So how come we didn't have to vote as a consent agenda?
I mean, I can do them separately. I figured it's from the same company.
And it's just as 2 versus like 6 detailed ones, but
Okay, but just procedurally, like you're
we, yeah, it's inconsistent. I'll
Okay.
grant you that.
I will modify my motion to approve only the first invoice with the source of state aid money, invoice number 1662646 in the amount of $838.
Motion made
Seconded.
and seconded.
Should
Any-
we just amend the motion just to mention that it's American Alarm? I don't think that was mentioned in the motion.
From American Alarm.
Motion made and seconded and amended. Any discussion? All right, hearing none.
Prabhu, aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
I declare the motion carried. And the next one, Aaron.
Sure. So, I make a motion to approve invoice number 1670355 in the amount of $838 from American Alarms out of state aid money.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions on this one? All right, hearing none. Prabhu,
Prabhu, aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, aye.
Aaron, I. Chris.
Oh, Chris, I, excuse me.
I declare the motion carried. And then finally, Encore Fire Protection, Kim.
Yes, they had come out to do the inspection and found a faulty, there was a crack in one of the valves, so they had come out to replace that. And there was just a little detail that I included there. So the amount for that invoice was $4,455.
I'm so curious as to what an ITV is, but
I
I don't think we
know,
really need to. Okay, so I'll make a motion to pay Encore Fire Protection invoice number 2166511 in the amount of $4,455 from Leeds, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, this was a defect in the original installation, so I think that sounds appropriate.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
I believe ITV might, V meaning valve, since they said same orifice.
Oh,
So
IT valve.
something, I don't know what the IT is, but maybe that points us in the right direction.
Hearing none, vote by roll call.
Prabhu, aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, aye.
Aaron, I.
Chris, I.
Declare the motion carried. Thank you, everyone, for going through all those invoices. I know it was a lot this month, but this stuff has been building up probably for 3 months, so thank you.
And thank you to Kim,
Thanks, Kim,
for
for-
getting us organized and making sure that all this got done. Otherwise, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
For the last one, yes.
Okay, moving on to the agenda. Hopefully, some more exciting stuff. Teen room space. Actually, I think we've already discussed it. Combination of the flooring has been completed. The mold remediation's been completed. Have they repainted as well?
Yes.
Oh, great. So it's repainted. I know the teen room and Debbie were really excited to get that stuff all done and ready for the school year. So that's good.
Perfect
Just squeezed it in.
It was perfect
Perfect
timing.
timing.
I talked to Debbie, they actually had 25 teens after school.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, next is the Friends update by Carrie.
Yeah, so the Friends had their annual back to school used book sale. It was this past weekend. So they collected donations throughout the week leading up to the weekend and in collections throughout the year. It was very successful. It was held on Saturday from 9 to 1. And part of the sales on Saturday provided a 50% discount to teachers. So we were just thrilled to have so many teachers come and stock up their classrooms, for back to school. It was really heartwarming to see that. And then on Sunday, the library was open for the bag sale. So fill a bag for $5 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And there was a lot of foot traffic that day as well. So so they took in quite a bit of money. And as we all know, the Friends provide funding to the library to fund things like our museum passes. So so it's just really appreciated, the effort of the community to make the donations, the efforts of the Friends to to organize and do all the work to get it running, the support of our wonderful librarians, as well. So it was very successful. And the next Friends board meeting will be on Tuesday, September 9th, via Zoom at 7:30. And I actually met with Jean today and just gave her a little bit more detail about, how our friends operate, and invited her to join the meeting, and we'll share those meeting details with her as well. So
Great
looking
idea.
forward to introducing Jean to the Friends Board.
Great.
So thank you.
Any questions for Carrie on the Friends?
I have a question. So, the old book drop is becoming a bit of an eyesore, right? So, is that a library item asset, or is it really given to the Friends at one point?
Yeah, so actually, I talked to Jean about this today a little bit. So it used to belong to the library
Yeah.
before we had the new building and we have the automated book sorters. So it was gifted to the Friends, but the Friends have come up with a donation policy, and that doesn't require that book drop, and it really hasn't worked for them. So they do not want the book drop. So I
Yeah.
think it makes sense to remove it, but but I guess we would have to look
I
at.
think that's on me
funding.
to.
No, I have a great. I brought it up for a reason.
Oh, good.
So the Grafton Troop 106 Boy Scouts they have a scrap metal drive. I don't know that they can get a lot of money for non-ferrous metal, but I know that they would take it as part of their, for fundraiser. It's a big fundraiser for them. They do it twice a year, and they would even probably show up with a truck and remove it. I think I mentioned it to one of the librarians, and she was kind of nostalgic about it, But I think it's just become an eyesore, and we should
And
make
it
a
causes
decision.
confusion too,
It does.
because people see it
And people
they
leave garbage
really don't want
next to it
yeah.
too
Yeah,
that they don't want.
which we don't want.
Yeah.
So so I can confirm with the Friends when I meet with them next on the 9th, but I think they would be thrilled to
Yeah.
have it, because we have discussed it before. So I
Okay.
don't think that sounds like a very good solution.
So my perspective is I'm not sure what needs to get done to actually do that, like to donate the thing, since it's it's an asset of the town.
Yes.
So we might have to talk to the town administrator.
So generally, and I don't know how it works in this town, something has to be sent around to all the department heads to see if another
If anybody
department
else
can
wants
use it
it, right.
first. If not, then you're allowed to, sometimes people put things out at DPW and people from the town can take it, but it does belong to the town, so you're giving it to another nonprofit, so that's a little bit different than a business, but that would probably have to come from me to send around to all the department heads, administrators, to make sure nobody wants it first, and that it's okay that that we donate it.
Right. Do we think
What it
there's
was-
any value in it as far as if we wanted to sell it? I would guess probably not, but. So then I guess maybe as a board, we would just approve having the director discuss with the town about donating it?
Make the
Does that
interim
sound-
director.
Yep.
What?
The interim director.
The interim director?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we don't need to make a motion.
No, I don't think we
we
need to
authorize
approve
her. So the scrap metal drive is in November, and even if we don't decide by November, they do one in the spring too.
Right.
Okay.
Because I do agree, it's kind of an eyesore, and we're always worried about what ends up getting put in there.
I'm just gonna throw this in there, not for general discussion because it's not on the agenda. But speaking of eyesores, those two bikes that are just rotting in front of the library, I took a photo of them, and maybe we can even talk about that during the
Walkabout.
the walkabout. I think maybe.
2 bikes, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I'll
Okay.
leave that to the walkabout. That's more appropriate.
Yep. Sounds great. Thank you, Carrie, for the Friends update. Next on the agenda is the policy committee update with Aaron.
So, great news, we get the policies back from legal. So the next step, and it was just before this board meeting, but the next step is for those to go to the union reps, and they'll take a look at them. And I spoke with Cindy, and she said, just give them enough time and enough time to review them so that we can have them on the agenda for the next board meeting. There's 5 policies. I don't think, I mean, it'd be awesome. I'll put all 5 on the agenda for next month, as so long as, they pass, the union. But, that once they come to the board, right, I just want to caution if we do have, 5 policies for review, that we, if there's too much deliberation to approve a policy, we'll just kick it back to policy committee and take it offline. So that'll help facilitate those meetings going forward. I mentioned that because we haven't had policy in a while to
Right,
review
yeah.
by this board.
Aaron, would
Yeah.
it be possible for all that, again, I don't expect a lot of deliberation, but could we get those policies in advance? Our meeting packets get longer every meeting, it feels like. So if there's 5, it would just be helpful if we know that's coming to have it.
Yeah, so
Soon.
so when I would send them, it's not for for commentary, it's for you to read them, right?
Yes.
And whether you feel that you're going to vote on them at the meeting, so then you come to the meeting and say, you know what, I disagree with this, I'm going to vote no on this, and here's why. So that's what I would expect at the meeting.
Yep.
No,
Right.
and that makes sense, but
But
just
at
a
this
little
point,
more
no,
time.
I would say no correction. Absolutely. Yep, I can send those for review.
Thank you.
Great.
So,
That's it.
I'm going to ask, Mr. Chair, that the item under 8C, library parking lot, that's actually I would ask that we just continue the discussion on policy.
Okay.
And so we had this on our agenda last month, and it led to an email reply from our town administrator, and then a reply to back to him. Thank you for smoothing things over regarding that. And so during last meeting, our regular meeting, we did all provide input on the parking policy, and then we subsequently voted to remove it from sort of limbo status. And so in advance of that meeting, because it was taken down, I wasn't familiar with the preamble that the reason why we had the policy so strict was that at the time that we had the grant, it was our understanding then that we really needed it only for library parking. And we now find out that MBLC, Mass Board of Library Commissioners, really doesn't take issue with us having that parking lot being used by others. So what I'm getting at is that in advance of the meeting, okay, I'll concede that I kind of went down a rabbit hole, all right, with some misinformation, because I'll admit that I actually didn't do the proper research, and I had basically put forth the notion that there was sort of a turf war, okay, that didn't exist between the library trustees and the town administration, all right? And in hindsight, I realized that I kind of, in that email from our town administrator, he had mentioned, among other things, that, he felt that there was some tension between the trustees and, town administration. And I'll concede that I think I inadvertently contributed to that, okay? And so we know that our town administrator, Evan Broussard, and our assistant town administrator, William Blake, have done an amazing job, especially during the flood, during the absence of a director. And I just wanted to, publicly apologize that I basically took an accusatory tone, toward our town administrator, Evan, and our assistant town administrator, William, even though I didn't name them by name. I use the term town administration, and so I just wanted to, while saying that, yeah, the parking policy does need to be discussed at some time, I just wanted to offer a public apology that to have gone down that sort of accusatory tone that I think contributed to some of the tension that our town administrator mentioned. And so I'll leave it at that, and at some point we can talk more about and partner with instead of against the town in really coming up with something that works for everyone. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Roger. I think we all recognize that we've gotten various feedback from previous directors and MBLC and the town. So it's been certainly been a confusing issue. But I certainly agree that we need to work well with the town administrator's office. And actually, I think that's a good segue into, I would love to have a group of trustees, a small group of trustees, join me in meeting with the town administrator, just to talk about a lot of these ongoing things like the HVAC and the leads account, and we can talk about parking. So that would be another one if someone wants to volunteer.
I'll help with that, Doug, because I had actually wanted to meet with them because I was just trying to understand roles and responsibility between us and them. So happy to join you with them.
Thank you.
And if there's room for a third, I'd.
Yeah, like on behalf of the policy committee, if you think that would be helpful, I'll
Yeah.
volunteer my time too.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you.
Does that
You just
make
have to be
sense?
careful not
think
to
that's
have a
fine.
quorum. though.
Yeah, I would only,
Yeah,
I
that's-
think
yeah,
there'd only
that's
be
fine.
3 of us would meet. And both Evan and William have offered, like basically they're waiting for us to come up with some options for dates. So I'll
And
reach
this
out
would be
to the-
during the day.
I would assume it would be during the day.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, and thank you, Roger, for clarifying last meeting.
Yeah, trying to smooth things over.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. They've done an amazing job, and without them, we would have been sunk on so many levels. So,
Yeah, I think the board definitely agrees with you on that.
So
Okay.
that
Any
be-
other
that being
questions?
said, should I don't recall if we mentioned it at the last meeting, but is there any policies, right? Because there are a number of policies that say under review that have been taken down. Are there any policies that the board feels the policy committee needs to look at next? And I want to remind you that I'm the only policy committee member from the
Yep.
board, right? So I am looking for somebody else to help. And I think Prabhu, maybe you mentioned that you would be interested in policy committee.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great.
Great.
I did have a quick question on it. I
Yes.
thought we had paused the policy committee until we had a director in place.
Yep.
So, I guess, are you looking to start reviewing policies?
Yeah,
Even though
so-
we don't have a director in place, or are we still waiting for the director?
So that would also be a discussion too, if we feel that we wanted Jean to fall into that role as an interim director as well.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think that makes sense. Jean, I believe you have extensive experience with establishing policies.
Yes,
at the
and I
Pioneer
have no
Library.
problem with working with the policy. My suggestion is that you do wait for the permanent director to sign off on them, but certainly they could be worked on and,
Yeah.
developed, and then whomever the permanent director, you should probably wait. So
And-
they might want to have buy-in, and they have to be able to interpret them and make sure that they understand them correctly too, and know the people to work with. So that would just be my suggestion.
And my only other thought is Jean's 3 days in, so I don't think she quite knows what's on her to-do list
Right.
yet. So
It's getting
it would make,
Yeah.
just maybe we should see everything before we get back into policy.
so I guess
Well,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying this is an absolute mess. The policy is an absolute mess, and that was what was communicated to me with from Mary Mertland and Tom before he left.
Yeah.
And that's why these were taken down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we need to make a decision whether we put them back up or let them sit there.
So I have a question through you, Mr. Chair, and to Aaron's point. So, in hindsight, and piggybacking on my just recent comments regarding this parking policy and our discussion at the last meeting, it had been taken down without a committee vote, and we've really never talked about what the quote-unquote policy is or procedural policy regarding, a director having the authority to maybe on short-term basis take things down for short periods on under extenuating circumstances. My point being that it was taken down, and we voted as a committee last regular meeting to resurrect the parking policy as it was written. Are we going to leave it up there as written, or are we going to vote as a policy, as a committee tonight to take it back down?
You're referring specifically to the parking policy.
Yes,
Yep.
because it's on the agenda. It's up for
Yep.
grabs as far as whether we want to do that. I think that in light of the MBLC saying, that they really don't take an issue, I would prefer a written, a communication from MBLC versus, us, any one of us having said we spoke with someone.
Right.
And but it's a very strong preamble that suggests that the reason being such a strict 24/7 policy was that it was a state mandate, and that we were just kind of following suit with that versus, and then we rode with that. And so,
Did the policy committee,
So,
right, no,
sorry.
that's fine.
So you have a separate agenda item talking about library parking lot.
I know.
Right, so we need to kind of focus.
Well, it was under
he-
policy, and
yeah, he
it's,
thought it
Yeah,
was-
I
and,
know.
and that's fine. If you want to talk in more detail, that's good. but-
okay, all right, then,
So-
okay,
uh,
that's fine.
So I'm just trying to make a point, right?
Right.
So I think the homework, now that I'm recalling, right, was to determine if we wanted to put these policies back up or not. And I think it'd be nice to make a decision tonight, rather than leaving blank policies that say under review, maybe just to remove them and then we can workshop them, or maybe never put them back up again. So notary service, right? We don't offer notary services, so why leave it there?
Yeah.
That was their point. So there's a, taking somebody down was valid. I don't agree with the approach, but I think, I'd love to hear from you guys if we want to just leave it or if we should actually remove these.
Well, are there certain ones that we think should stay up? Because I'm concerned about not having a policy in place.
Uh-huh.
I know there might be some tweaks that might be necessary, but if you don't have a policy at all, then you don't have any guidelines to go by. And if they were previously, approved and were in place for quite a few years, to take them down without, we didn't have a discussion about it. It was,
So the idea is either some are completely wrong or the procedures are outdated or something is really glaringly wrong with it.
and was that was that as determined by the library director at the time, or
Yes.
by the policy committee?
By the library director and the senior librarian.
Okay, so library staff was involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would a sort of compromise, Mr. Chair, be to, if we, well, let me back up. Were you talking about the combination, Aaron, of some that we felt should be taken down for now and then others that should be resurrected, or one or the other?
they were already taken down.
All right, so
Yeah.
if we do decide to resurrect them, it allows us to acknowledge that they once existed, when they were last revised, and if we do resurrect them, we could always qualify within the website under that policy that as of a certain date, call it tonight, that these are currently under revision or currently under review for revision, so that we're not saying that they never existed, but that here's how they read, and that they're under review.
Does it matter that they're posted whether or not they're under review? I mean, they could be.
I think
they could
that
be active, but under review.
But if the former director and one of the library managers said that there's some glaring error in something that really requires it to be taken down, maybe that allows whoever might be reading it and realize that there's certain errors that we're affirmatively recognizing that this needs to be reviewed.
Okay.
That's all. That
I guess.
I'm sorry.
I was just throw out that there seems two there that were probably pretty easy for us to vote to officially take down. One's the notary service policy that no longer exists, that we don't provide, and then the pandemic fine-free library policy, which was replaced with the fine-free library policy. So is it even helpful if we just vote to take those two, vote that we are good taking those off and just start with those two, unless there's a reason we would want to keep those, right? Is that kind of the ask here, Aaron?
I think we need to treat each one as a special case.
Yeah. So
So
maybe
why
just-
not? Why don't we just send those under review to the policy committee, and then have them propose at the next meeting which ones were.
I think we're waiting on the policy. We're
Yeah,
gonna wait to have
I mean,
a policy
we're not
committee till the
operating.
director
Oh,
gets
yeah.
in. So I think the question is, do we just want to really hold where it is, knowing it's not perfect, but it's not perfect if we put it back and just leave it as is, or is there anything we feel strongly about having a procedural vote on? Personally, I'd say since there's no like good solution each way, I'm comfortable if we just leave it as is until we have someone come in and do a full review and then assess it there, as long as it's not causing any questions or concerns from the library staff, right? Because the policy's there to support them and how they operate in the library, and so if we're not getting questions on them right now, and we're in this influx period, it might be better just to let it rest.
So if I could make a comment, I haven't seen the policies. I've seen a couple that I've just found in the office, but I'm certainly willing to take a look at all of them from a different perspective and give my input about whether it's redundant or, you know, is it operational or is it procedural or is it a policy, and then does it fall under patron use policy or is it building like there's different categories that it might be under. So it might very well be that if we don't have a notary public, that should come out. Are they policies the board would vote on? I don't know. I haven't seen them, but I'm happy to take a look. And
I think that's my challenge, is that I don't have enough information to know why they were under review, so I wouldn't have enough information.
Frankly, I don't have it either.
Right. So I don't have enough information. I don't think we have enough information to say, yes, it should stay under review or go
Yeah.
live or stay off,
Yeah, so I would recommend we just,
I think so too. I mean, I think it would be great if we could get copies as a board of all the ones that are under review.
Yeah.
And if we have any commentary about what the issues were with
yeah,
those,
we should have that.
are those hyperlinks linking to them?
not the ones that have been taken
Not
down.
for me, I think that it's too Orwellian for things to just kind of disappear, and it'd be nice to know where they're parked, and for us at least as trustees to have access to those which have been taken down without our vote. You know what I mean?
So
It's just
we do have access to them in that Excel sheet that Kim sent. She linked them all in there.
Oh,
to
they are?
us.
Oh,
so we can
okay.
actually go through and review them all because Kim's super
Okay.
organized. So
all right.
So do we have,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did we have a second volunteer to join? That was Prabhu was going to join you? Okay.
So, what is the directive then for the policy committee?
I'm wondering, without getting into the weeds, into further discussion about all of these and whether to keep certain ones and put certain ones down, I'm wondering if maybe for the time being, where the public lands on the website, because that's where people go to see these things. Not that we have a huge audience, but for anyone who may land on there, maybe having a sort of qualifying or a preamble statement that the library trustees has and its policy subcommittee regularly reviews these policies for accuracy and current services or something to that effect, that is allows any public who may have some objection to how things are worded or recognize inaccuracies know that these just aren't there without them being looked at, that we regularly look at these.
All right, so maybe the directive is just for Prabhu and I to meet and look at all these policies, and I would invite all of us to do this. But for Prabhu and I to look through these policies, particularly the ones that some of the library staff and the previous director felt were inaccurate, and make our recommendations. But I would say, how does that change this discussion when we come back with that information? I guess we would decide either to pull these links off the website, which is what we're talking about, these dead links, or put them back, right?
Yeah, just a couple of the policies I think are important to have active. Minimum staffing policy, right? I mean, that one,
That's a huge one.
that's a
and,
huge one, so.
And I feel like that was written by a previous director, and a lot of it is philosophy too, and a lot of it is history, and a lot of it was based on the building and the design.
Right.
And that was a very, very meaty, and we've been following that for years. And even at the, contestations or whatever you want to say of people who say, well, this is really hard to follow, but we have to follow it anyways. We have to close the library because we don't have enough staff to operate it, right? We had to do that a lot, especially during the pandemic, right? And that's because of that policy and the way it was written. Now, if things have changed, we don't just throw out the policy, right? but we still have to adhere to it. Because maybe it's not the way we do things now, but it should be, right?
Yep.
Until we vote otherwise.
And then the circulation policy, right? Like that,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what the issues were with some of these.
Yeah, there's no notes as to what the,
Right.
the issues were.
So,
I guess the
Just
other
to-
piece is, I know you said like you'd recommend we like leave it off, or sorry, we either delete it or put it back on. I guess if there's any that like we don't want to do either, like feel for, like I'd be interested if there's any that do fall into that third bucket for a good reason.
It's going to come off, right? It's still going to come off because then it has to go back to policy committee. We have to rewrite it with the director, right? That's a lot of work that's going to be involved, right? So that's why I'm kind of proposing that maybe we just remove it all right now and it all goes back to policy committee. The issue is like, I would say if there's anything that is super critical to keep there, then I would advise maybe not pulling it down. One thing is minimum staffing policy. The other is, I don't know that they felt that service to people with disabilities needed to be a policy. That was a feedback I got on from the policy committee. That we're going to service people with disabilities, so they felt it wasn't needed. But I'd have to really read it to see why it was written. Is there anything else that needs to go back, or is all of this going to come back to policy committee?
Aaron, I have a question for you though. I unless I'm mistaken, did you as much step back from policy committee in a recent meeting or not?
No,
or-
it's just we can't operate because it's just me.
just, yeah, it's just,
Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
it was a pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But-
My only
but-
sense is, sorry, go ahead, Doug.
no, go ahead, Chris.
I'd say that it's difficult to review and make a decision without knowing what the potential
Right,
issues are, which I
right.
think has been mentioned by a couple people. And so it just feels like it's not a decision I feel like I personally can make today without knowing what those issues are.
yeah, and the previous director made that call.
Right,
No longer with us.
right.
So
And, I'm okay with the current policy committee, you, Prabhu, the staff member, and the interim director, Jean, like reviewing these and seeing like, was this reasonable, the concerns?
Sure.
Or are we okay with them and would they go back live or should they go back to the committee?
yeah, I think that's appropriate because we're not creating new policy, which Jean mentioned would be the permanent director's responsibility to
Right.
put their approval on it and say, hey, this is what we want to do at the library. But reviewing this stuff, absolutely.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
It's almost like a working group as opposed to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just kind of
Getting
Like-
the band back together, I love
get
it.
in there and start,
Yeah.
sorting it out.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hearing from Mary, like what the concerns, what her perceived concerns
Yeah.
were, and then, getting your interpretation and trying to work to see like, okay, is it,
Yeah.
can it be tweaked or does it need to
Yeah.
be totally rewritten?
And I think the easy ones, things that we're not doing anymore, like the
Yeah.
notary service, we
Yeah.
should just vote next month and
Yeah.
take those down. And
Or keep them
I'm
down,
trying to think the right word is, not terminate them, but retire them.
Mm-hmm.
Just retire the policies if they're no longer relevant.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Aaron. I know it's a big responsibility for this group because that's one of our main directives, is defining and helping the director and the library define policy.
I think the design of the policy committee has been good. We've been good at reviewing and writing and revising policy, but I think where maybe we need, and this is, it's for everybody to kind of chime in on, we need to perhaps, so we don't get in a situation again, maybe go through different phases of writing versus reviewing what we have, because I never thought for a minute that any of this stuff would just go stale or inaccurate, right? But times change, so I think that's probably just a failing of the way that we've been working.
Does the MBLC, and I should know the answer to this, but does the MBLC maintain draft policy language templates and things?
They
Okay.
do for some of them, yeah.
For
They're
some.
pretty broad in general, but
Okay.
it's a place to start.
All right.
Sometimes the general idea is people put too much into a policy and then you're caught into something that you don't have enough room around it, so the language is really important.
Right.
So it's concise enough to be meaningful, but not too much where you can't define everything, and then you end up with a situation that's not listed. So, but they do have some. I can can take a look.
Is
Right,
there,
thank you.
so I wonder, do we need like an overarching policy, like how, like the procedure to establish policy, who can, how it, gets approved, and what should be policy versus procedure? Like, is that generally?
I would think that would be a good idea, because my understanding, just I've heard a little bit and I didn't get into the discussions, that some of them might be operational, in which case they really don't need to be public, and those would change. Because it's, operation. So I don't know. I haven't seen them either. So we're all kind of working with information that we don't have. But I think that would be a good idea to establish what the protocol is moving forward to.
Yeah, because
making
as Aaron
changes.
mentioned, we were surprised that they were taken down, and I think it really, I think our purview is that it should be that the board approves taking it down.
Yeah, I would-
if there's
I
a
would
valid
expect
reason,
so.
of course, we would take it down, but it shouldn't just be done without
No.
approval,
Well,
right?
so they consulted with the MBLC and they said it is under the director's purview to pull anything down they felt was inaccurate or illegal. And that's why it was done.
Okay.
So,
Okay, but if it's illegal, you need
So,
to know why it's illegal.
yeah,
I think that's if something's really of an emergency nature. They, I think because
do-
they're board policies, you really have final
Yeah,
authority.
I think
on
we
it.
can probably end the discussion. Do we have the information about why they were pulled down?
I don't.
Like, so,
Hopefully.
So
So-
perhaps I
Mary
can try to uncover
Maybe-
that.
I can talk to Mary. Is it Mary?
yeah,
who's-
maybe
that'd be
Mary has some of that
fantastic.
information if she was the one
She might
consulting
have.
with.
She might have notes.
Yeah.
That I can.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I suspect we'll be having similar conversations next month. Hopefully some of them will be resolved by then. All right, next up is the walkabout, Chris.
Yeah. And Aaron, I'm mindful you had kind of some additional pieces to add in. But walked around during a rainstorm. It wasn't quite as hard as I'd hoped to be able to walk around in. But did notice a bunch of dripping in various locations along the north side of the building that faces the inn. At least as far as I could tell, and as I understand the quote that was discussed in July, I think that quote covered the deficiencies that I noticed. There was a couple videos that I took that kind of show those various pieces, little bits of dripping, but it was a lot of times it was the solder in between sections of gutter. There was a loose rock on the patio wall on the northeast corner. I don't know if this is the same one that had been noted by an email to Tom. I think that was back in May or June. I don't remember which month. But there was one there, right on the top. There was an exterior light, again, on the north side of the building facing the inn, near an old basement entrance, one that's been blocked shut. There's a light above it. There's some exposed wiring. I expect that it probably is not active, but it didn't look functional in either event, but it may be something we want to get evaluated and taken down. A lot of sandbags, which doesn't probably surprise anybody, but some of them are broken open and kind of along the back side of the building. And so there were some being actually used since it was raining, kind of by the children's room, which is great. But just didn't know if we wanted to, if they're broken and open, get rid of those to create more space, particularly on that back patio area.
Is that something that the custodian can take care of?
I was just going to ask, but the procedure seems to me for these sort of minor, relatively minor building issues that probably the director would contact DPW and have them.
Yeah, or the
Work order.
custodian. The custodian,
So,
if it's something small and minor,
Yeah, I
the
think,
custodian
and
can
if
take care
not,
of.
then they'll tell me. But I think they
Yeah,
probably.
okay.
Yeah, there was a damp carpet near the teen room. I didn't have a picture of that, but we've seen a couple pictures of that in the past.
By the exterior door?
The exterior door, not, yes, the exterior door, again, facing the inn, where we've had issues in the past.
Yeah.
And had a fan there. There is a picture of the new floor that was installed. They still had some sheeting up because the wall hadn't been repaired yet. So there, you can see the floor in there if you haven't actually
Yeah,
been
that's
in.
nice.
It looks quite nice.
Nice.
In June, had noted that the thermostats at the top of the stairways kind of showed very large disparity between two of them by the circulation desk on top of the stairway. Tom had noted they had been fixed, I think, in one of his last notes, and they showed the exact same temperature this time up, and things seemed like, so that seemed a little better. This day was pretty cool that I was there. The front reading room was at about 75 degrees, which was a little surprising, but worth noting. And then I did notice also the AV equipment in the large conference room. There had been a piece that had been dangling for quite a while that had been replaced or fixed. It was no longer that way. So,
Cool.
that's that. And then Aaron, I know you had a couple, at least some bikes you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So I think these two bikes, they're rusted and the tires are all flat. They look identical, but I feel like if they don't belong to anybody, they're just abandoned bikes.
Where they're in the
Right.
They're,
right,
oh,
Right.
oh.
You don't even notice them
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah, I
they're
did-
so long.
that's the
Yeah.
main entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bike stand in the main entrance, yeah.
Yeah. So
Can we
they're
have-
completely rusted and look like garbage.
I can just have DPW come and pick them up.
Yeah, or can we do like a Facebook post that says, if these are your bikes, come get them, otherwise they're being taken care of.
The Boy Scouts might take that for their scrap metal.
That's true, yep.
It's not smart. That's good.
And that's also why I brought it up too. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Fellow Boy Scout.
There you go. No, I'll tell you, some nerd is going to be watching this meeting on playback and all of a sudden get an idea and then they'll disappear. No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no. Scrap metal's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't even think they're chained up.
Okay,
So. Yeah. I think they can probably go.
yep,
I think that's
okay.
it. Yep.
All right, thank you, Chris, for doing that. All right, so onward to new business. First item is the library director search. I mean, I can give you a quick update. We hired the interim director, so Jean started on Monday, as I mentioned earlier. The search committee is continuing to review applicants for the permanent director. I'm not sure we're getting a meeting in this week. It might be tight next week with the holiday. But hopefully in the next week. We've reached out to a couple candidates to make sure they're still available and interested, and we're in the process of setting up interviews with them. I don't know, Rachel, if you have any other comments?
I think it's just been a really good working committee with the combination of people from the library and the board, and we just did initial phone screening, so looking at that first round. So we feel good about the candidates we have too. So some good options coming through.
When will those? When will the board get involved in that process? What do you think?
I mean, I would guess it's gonna take us a good 2 weeks to get the interviews done. And then assuming there's a, candidate that we wanna move forward, then it would be sometime after that.
Yeah. And if it's helpful for the board, we can also come with proposed questions for this group as well, right? Because I know that's one of those things we do have to figure out in advance. So if it's helpful, I know we've planned ours, like that we will have for a first round, but we can kind of build out what that second round of questions is, knowing what our first rounds were, and kind of help with some of that too, if that's beneficial for
That's a good idea. We can share those questions with the board.
Are you anticipating all of us to interview each of these candidates too that you bring to the? Well,
So the way the second round will work is it's like a panel in front of this. I doubt we will have the final candidate ready for our next board meeting.
Yeah.
So next board meeting, we can bring the second round questions we're proposing if there's any feedback, and then we'll probably have to have a special board meeting, just based on how long these meetings are anyway, to do the final round interview, and then make a decision from there would be my expectation.
Would that be an executive session to discuss those questions? Because I think,
Find out.
I don't think so. I think the only reason this committee would go into executive session, I think, would be if there was more than two. If we were interviewing all 5 candidates. But our thoughts were that the subcommittee would recommend 2, maybe 3, I don't, depending on the numbers, but just the finalists that would
Of
then come in
course.
front of this committee.
Yeah.
And that would be that has to be in public open meeting at that point.
but just getting the questions ready in advance, like,
I
wouldn't we?
find out. I feel like executive session's been like reserved for like HR items or like employee stuff. I believe we actually have to land on those so that people would know the questions in advance. But we've got some document that kind of told us procedurally what we can and can't do around hiring, so we can look at that again.
Yeah, I think that there was some information either in the June or July meeting. There'd been a bunch of linked
I think it was in the
documents
July meeting packet.
up top, and it describes some of that. And if I recall correctly, I think that the discussion, the development of the questions has to be an open meeting, if I remember correctly.
We're just following what the paper says.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly confident.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions on the director search? All right. strategic plan, I think we can pass over this because we're waiting for next steps with the director. We already discussed the parking lot, Roger,
Yep.
correct?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so then D is town building inspections.
Yeah, so this came up when I was doing my office hours at the library. Cindy Zariello mentioned that some people representing the town said that they wanted to see the library, and they got into some not sensitive spaces, but areas of the library. Maybe I'm going to call it the boiler room, but I'm sure that's not what it is anymore.
It's a facilities assessment committee.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the idea is like, well, there's no director at the library to kind of oversee these people at the library. So really, it's just kind of librarians saying, "Oh, who are you? Oh, we're here to, inspect the library." And they're like, "Okay, well, you say so." But again, I think having, in the absence of a director, they did the best that they could.
Yep.
But Cindy felt that the board should know that they have been doing this because the building is really our purview. So we should know when the building's being inspected for whatever reason. But I would, if there's a committee, you said, inspecting
Right.
all town properties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all the needs and what needs to be fixed, and it's sort of,
Interesting.
yeah, it sort of maybe runs
Yeah.
along the line of capital planning improvement, capital improvement planning committee, CIPC, which I'm not sure if that's still around, but yeah, just it's a long term. They're taking a long term look at the needs of the town, and so so they're looking at all facilities and buildings and such. I'm not sure if it includes
Yeah.
parks and rec and things like that, but they're going to come up with some final report at some point.
I wonder if there's some synergy here too between the board and this committee, because generally, we're doing the walkabouts, we're
Right,
doing the
we're
best
doing-
we can. We're working with vendors to keep the library, running smoothly. It's HVAC, all this. So I wonder what they're going to come up with that may help or may,
Do we know who from the town was kind of overseeing that effort?
I don't know.
It could be something too, sharing the punch list. Like we have
Right.
a long
I,
list.
I don't know about that, Dave, but I know Ray Mead's on that committee. He's with
I
the
think it
group.
was Ray Mead. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he has an expertise in matters of construction and buildings and things like that, so it makes sense that he was taking a lead on that.
Maybe we can put on our agenda when we meet with the town administrators. I think they'd probably have a good sense of like who's running that and like who the report out's coming
That's
from.
a great idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It could be related to insurance also for town buildings.
That's true.
Yeah, I would say now that we have the Gene and the interim director, that all should go through you, and then you can reach out to me as if you get any requests.
Yes.
So make sure the staff knows that if someone comes in, that they need to make sure that you're aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Was not aware of that. Okay. Any other questions on that? Great. Other business, any updates on the capital campaign, Carrie?
So, as we discussed, the capital campaign did fund, the replacement flooring in the teen gaming room, so we're thrilled that that's, completed. And then the capital campaign did also, pay for the replacement table for the Friends Corner. Kim, I wasn't sure about, I know I'm gonna pick up the table, but I hadn't seen, when that's available yet, so when it is, I will, because it was a pretty hefty delivery fee that we wanted to avoid, so.
And I have reached out to them and asked that they let me know when it is available, and I will reach back out to you and let you know.
All right, thank you so much for coordinating that, really appreciate it.
So in capital campaign, Mr. Chair, as far as your earlier comment in the meeting about putting together all the funds and trusts and things like that, which actually belong to the library. This is a separate nonprofit, but do we know, like, pooling all these sort of potential funds and resources together, are things coming into the capital campaign, or was that mostly reserved for, like, is that well dried up as far as inflows, or was that mostly back before the building was open and now we're just spending it down? Unlike the Friends where there's inflows and outflows, in trust there's inflows and outflows.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to comment or I.
Well, you're the treasurer, so.
Yeah,
All right.
I happen to be the treasurer. So there are occasional inflows. We have some smaller donations from individuals. we have a multi-year commitment from Homefield Credit Union. So
Okay.
once a year, they're paying their piece because they
Spread it out, right?
right, they
Right.
spread out the naming rights from the children's room, but relatively small. So
Oh,
they're
okay.
really at the point where the capital campaign is accepting requests and paying out.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 501c3 charitable organization, so I would say, let it ride for as long as,
Right.
Yeah.
we would never give that up.
No, I'm not
But
saying
when
give
we
it
go
up,
through
but
campaigns.
knowing about, like, when we talk about state aid figures or
Yeah.
trusts or things, sort of having in the back of our heads, depending on the need and the nature of the item requested, okay, is this too large a request? Or is this an appropriate request for the capital campaign?
Yep.
Kind of having in the back of our minds the same amount of, like, what are the balances of the trust accounts and things like that, and, state aid or leads accounts and to kind of know, to not to be focused on and spending down something too quickly.
Yep.
Or
No.
requesting the nonprofit to be, we don't want it to be all of a sudden, oh yeah, we'll just spend it down and becomes insolvent,
Most of it has been spent already.
Okay.
There's not, there's quite a bit that was raised and was spent already.
Okay.
So there isn't a huge remaining balance,
All
but
right.
there is some money left.
Okay.
But I mean, I mentioned it to Jean and the staff, right? If there's requests from the staff for, there was like the chess things, the tables that went out on the patios. Like if there's any kind of pseudo permanent requests, those are certainly open for the capital campaign.
Can I?
And then the
Yes.
the grants. I'm sorry, the trusts. There's like I don't know 5 or 6 trusts. They have specific restrictions on what they can be spent on, but some of them are like books. Some of them are building pieces. So I mean, those are all available to the board.
Okay.
I have just some input here, just as something that I noticed, and there's no sign in front of the building. There should be a really nice sign that says Grafton Public Library. There
So-
is in the back, but when you're looking at it from the front, you don't know that it's the library unless you live and work here.
Well,
Yeah, so-
on the building itself, right?
But you can't
Like,
see that from the road or.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
front of the
so-
building is actually where the parking lot is. So that's where that sign
Okay.
is. Right.
But there's
because
a main,
that's the
but
main
there's a front
entrance.
entrance. Okay, but just mentioning that
Yeah.
there's no sign to say that it's the building. I mean, it would.
Yeah, I can't remember what's in front of on the common side.
on the common side, it's actually like in the actual building.
Right,
It's
up
a
on
little
the-
laminated piece
But,
of paper.
but there isn't
taken
anything on the
FI5. There's
front
nothing-
lawn. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad idea to have a sign in the front.
Yeah. I mean,
There are
it's-
sign makers who make beautiful custom-made signs and that might be more expensive than you want to pay, but
Yeah.
just,
There may be some historical district commission, historical, is that right? Historical
Grafton
district-
Grafton Common Historic District Commission.
There are some restrictions because it is part of the historic district, but, if this group, if someone wants to spearhead an effort to find some historic sign, I mean, we certainly could consider that.
So we used to have, I think,
there was
in the
one.
front, it used to have the hours in the front, didn't
It
it?
did.
So then when the entrance moved, that's not there. So and that probably said Grafton Library. It was like a green, like.
There was, I
entrance.
remember some kind of,
Yeah, so I don't. see
but I
why
know
we
it was part of
shouldn't.
the construction project. It was intentional that the main sign is at that entrance to the driveway. Cause that's where people should be coming in off of the 140 entrance, Upton Street entrance.
Okay.
Okay. Library statistics, Kim.
Yes. For the month of July, the adult circulation is up 752 from last month at 5,212. Children's is up 1,264 from prior month. It is 9,361. The young adult up 418 from prior month at 1,593. Total circulation 16,584. That is up 2,444 from the prior month. New patrons 120, up 13 from last month. Total books and audio 3,491. That is up 276 from the prior month. And total hoopla, 454, up 60 from prior.
Is new patrons new card holders or just people that never like checked out a book before?
You
New
read my
card-
mind.
New card holders. Okay, that's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I caught it the 6
You know, one of the things the board could ask of Jean is to put together, so 2 directors ago, we had like this nice infographic that was like a 1-page thing, and it kind of highlighted, you know, with green arrows going up if it was something that was going up, and red arrows to go down if something decreased. But it was kind of a really nice, I thought, a nice graphic that just captured what you just said, but in a nice little graphic.
Okay.
That might be something that you could put on your list to do. It really helps. I mean, it's great to hear month to month numbers, but it's also good to see trends as well, right? Like year over year or.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was done through Canva in the past, or maybe some sort of solution like that.
Okay.
But I bet you could run it through AI real quick, and it would spit out a graphic.
That's true too, yeah.
You know, as long as you give it accurate data.
It is important for the board and the community, right, to see what our numbers are doing, going up, going down, changing. They typically will change.
And to recognize, as you're saying, patterns, though, also these numbers represent, you know, summer which children's stats are going to
Sure.
be up, and you know, so it's number is good. You can put it in
Yep.
context. So that's yeah, I think that's good.
Yep. Great. Any other questions on the stats? Next up, and I know we're getting 8:30, so Kim has, I think, a couple requests for events.
I do also want to mention, just share with the board that Mark Berger will be performing a concert on the Common. The library is sponsoring that. It is Saturday, September 20th, and it is from 12 to 1.
Okay.
You said Saturday?
Yes.
30th, it says.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
thir-
The 30th?
hold on. I'm looking at your website.
12 to 1. Okay.
12 to 1.
What date?
Yep. September 20th.
Okay.
September 20th.
That's a Saturday.
The other thing I wanted to share is the Small Stones Festival of the Arts. Carolyn had stopped in. I don't know if she's the president of that, but she's involved with the Small Stones Art Festival. And as you recall, last year they had the high school students exhibit their work in the historical reading room. And she would like to propose doing that again. However, she asked if the library would sponsor that in conjunction with Small Stone Festival of the Arts in the Grafton High School, so that we could promote it and, you know, advertise it in the building and on the website. So, and that's not until April of 2026, but just wanted to put that out there.
Do you, the whole event is in April. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I attended the presentation of the artwork, and it was really fantastic. But I know that there was I don't want to call it a rift or an issue, but essentially what they could and couldn't do in terms of promoting their event at the library, and they were told they couldn't promote it at all. No signage, nothing. Right. So I think this is a request to perhaps partner with the library so that they can promote it, because it really is a wonderful event. It was really nice in the historic reading room, and it stayed up for quite a while, and it was really well attended by the community.
I thought didn't Dana? I thought it like I thought we were trying to spread the word about that. So I'm surprised to hear that.
Somebody was. It wasn't Dana, but probably this person who you're mentioning. I think she was told by someone who worked at the library. Maybe it was Tom at the time, that no, you can't promote this for whatever.
So we could host it but not promote it. That sounds kind of odd.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've got a long time running up to it, but I think we should
I don't know what that
part of that.
what the promotion piece is, but certainly like
Yeah, I mean,
The
like
re-
put,
the
like
reason
having
space,
flyers. I
right?
mean, like
Yeah.
when we have friends events, we put flyers up in the library. You know, in like the little
that's
scenes.
different.
Is this a 1-day thing or is it
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
all right? So it would be running off of the small stones as a sort of offshoot of that?
It is an offshoot. So the small stones is still, I believe, be at the community barn, but this is for the teens.
Yes.
So
High
it's a,
schools.
yeah,
So
the high
what-
school students.
I think that at some point soon we would need to really discuss the parameters of that, because we did have this discussion about in the past about whether the Small Stones Festival itself was too big for that reading room, and what that historic reading room, and what impact or adverse impact that may have with people shuffling through during operational hours. And so what is the scope and the size of this?
Yeah.
Because at a certain
Very,
point, it
very
would become
small.
too much.
Yeah,
I
very
mean, it was small. I think the thing to do would be just to get some feedback from the staff that was there last year to see what the pros and cons were,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then work with the organization to figure out what they mean by sponsorship.
Right.
Yeah.
I know Carolyn, she just was hoping to have it promoted by us, you know, signage and in other words, what happened, people were coming in specifically for this event.
Oh, and there was no
And they
like
didn't know
sign to show
where.
where it was in the library.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
So it's more like one of those like stand signs that has like an arrow like this way to the.
Right. And then also to feature it on our website would be really nice.
I mean, I would think if the library is going to host it, we should be willing to sponsor it or,
Right.
or promote it. I mean,
Right.
Put it in the newsletter.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing I might suggest too is you can, provide this feedback. We do have an art display policy, right? And we have these really great rails, where work from the community can be reviewed. You know this because you've been on the policy committee with me. So yeah, I think that would be great to see if that could be an alternative too. Maybe to supplement this. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying this could also be an option as well, and they may respond well to that.
I like that. Thank you, Erin.
I think this is the type of event we want to partner with. Like, this is fantastic, and then for them to approach us, and we're just providing like the space and
especially since it's highlighting the Grafton School.
yeah,
art.
absolutely.
Teens, it's hard, the teen population.
Right. Bring him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly, I remember before we did the library construction, we did have a lot of like display cases and all things, showcasing different things from the public, or it wasn't really the collection, but it was like, it was artwork or fossils or something. I haven't seen that at the library in a while since we did the renovation.
I mean, there was a really nice project that Allison had done. It was a community event where you did the squares, and those are still in the on display. But some like a follow up to that would be wonderful too.
Okay.
And we had the I don't know if it's still there, the clock, the Willard clock that was set up in the historic reading room.
Yeah,
There is
it's
that
unknown.
display case that's in front of the community room,
Yeah, they
and I know that
changed that out.
rotates around as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
One question just to ask, 'cause I haven't heard it explicit, but I'm assuming this is not financial sponsorship?
I don't believe it's
Okay,
financial.
that's what I
think
kind of
it was
understood, just was asking. Okay.
promoting, advertising and,
Okay.
and that sort of thing. Yes,
Sounds
that's
good.
my
They don't usually
understanding.
have
Okay,
money
alright.
for
Okay.
those things.
And then did you want to bring up the other request that we had from the staff member for the community room?
Yes, a staff member would like to, had inquired about using the community room for a couple of hours after hours.
And this is separate from the one we talked about last month.
Yes, I do not recall the date. I know she spoke to you, also-
September, I think it was September 20th.
Oh, yes, the same day as the concert, right?
Yeah, September 20th. And I think it was from 3, the library closes at 2,
At 2,
and it was from 3 to 5, I think.
Is this a library employee?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something the trustees want to approve, or defer to the director.
I guess I have a couple questions on it, right? And Jean, there's been like some history here where we've had trouble staffing off hours, and so
Yeah.
and then there's also like security issues, and so there's a lot of stuff we'd like to walk through. I guess it really comes down, I think, to your point, Doug, how Jean feels about it as the interim director, because if something happens, like it
Right.
still comes down to you.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing I'd like to throw out is I just want to make sure we don't get stuck in a pattern where only library staff are able to use it after hours because they're willing to volunteer their time for their events. And so I would even say, like, if someone's using the space, like, we still need an on-duty library staff person there because they're technically not on duty. They're not getting paid. Like, I don't know if there's union.
Well, they're specifically, they would not be there as staff because it's not in anyone's job description.
Right, so we would still need staff there, probably would be my guess. So I just want to make sure, like, we're really clear that they're either there working or they're there enjoying. And if we need staff there, like, are we still getting
Right.
a staff member there to be
Right.
on duty? So
Right.
I just think there's a lot there. So it's not as simple as
Yeah.
just like approving it or not.
The staff member came to me and asked me if I had, and I knew that there was sort of an ongoing discussion about this. Since she's a staff member and she knows how to open and close and everything, that I was okay with it. I asked her to text me when she's finished so I know it's closed up and everything went okay and I would be aware of it, and if they needed me for anything they could text me. But you have to be careful about setting a precedent, and if it's another, like, I'm the only one who really could, well, wouldn't impact the budget if I went, and I wouldn't mind, but setting a precedent, and a permanent director might not want to do that, and I wouldn't want to do it all the time anyways. So I do think that there's kind of some layers to it, and we don't want it to be only staff members either if we want to outreach to them.
Yeah, I mean, what we talked about last month was coming up with a procedure, a training program and a procedure. So a training program to train someone to do all those functions, and they wouldn't have to be a staff. They could be one of us or somebody else that's been trained, and then having that person would get trained and would have the responsibility of the building for their. The fact that they're a staff just means that they would have to be trained, which they already know most of that stuff already.
Well, I think the other piece to the budget part is there's actually a fee for it, and I believe the fee should cover someone's hours.
Correct. That's
And if we're not in that
point,
spot,
though,
then
Yeah, the facility rental policy's been pulled down, right? So if that's where that's coming from. Is it?
But it was pulled. I mean, I did have a conversation with Tom about that. He pulled it down because of the security pieces weren't outlined, and so.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
no,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
didn't
good
mean to
call
interrupt
out. Go for it.
But my thought was that. So yes, we're missing the procedure for opening, turning off the alarm and then closing the building, and that's something that we need to figure out from an internal procedure. And this would just be an opportunity to walk through that procedure.
Yeah, and I think if it were board members and people took a turn doing it, I wouldn't certainly have a problem with
Yeah.
that.
But I do agree, having either having Jean there as the interim director or the permanent director, if that's the case, or maybe one of us or somebody overseeing it would be a good idea.
Well, and I guess Carrie, you're next because I've seen you try to jump in 3 times. I guess I want to make sure whatever we set up, like we can use staff, right? Like I don't, like, as board members, I don't feel it's our position to be there supporting community events, right? That's very different than our roles and responsibility, and I don't want to put it on the interim or full-time director either, right? Whatever we develop has to be sustainable for the library to support community events.
Right.
Yep.
all the time. So, and then Carrie, yeah.
So I think the relevant experience that we just had this past weekend, and this has been an ongoing event, is the Friends Book Sale. As I described, the sale happens on Saturday and Sunday. So on Saturday, the library was open. So library staff were there during the sale. Friends were allowed to enter the building in advance of the opening, but library staff were there, so they were already there. But on Sunday, there were no library staff at the building. I was there volunteering, but it was a member of the Friends, who was given access to to enter the building. So I met with myself and the president of the Friends met with Heidi, who gave us a tutorial on the the alarm system. But that is the most that's the most common event that we have. There are also times when we're doing events to prepare for the spring egg hunt too, that the friends, you might have access to the building on an off time as well. But so certainly nobody was paid to be there. It was a community event benefiting the library, absolutely. So that's what. So we do. We did have that. Did the training on how to access the building and making sure that the alarm was set. There was. They also did adjust the doors. So the doors are supposed to be open from 11 to 2 on Sunday. That didn't work exactly as we planned, so we had to work around that. But
Okay.
so
So maybe we just defer to Jean to see if she's comfortable with this next event, similar to
Yeah.
what the Friends did.
For the staff member, you're talking about the staff member who's going, it's her event,
Correct.
right? And so I'm comfortable with that. The staff member knows, procedures and so forth.
And we can,
And
I
she has
think,
access to me if she needs me, and I said,
but I do agree with Rachel that we need, this shouldn't have to be a staff member. It should be someone that's been trained to do that, kind of like what you said with the Friends. So coming up with that procedure on training that person and the actual procedure on entering and exiting.
Well, and I guess like I don't, like I would question how comfortable we feel with just allowing different people to be trained up, right? I do think there's some value, like the reason people pay the fee is so that we have an approved employee who's been vetted and signed contracts and all of that going through it. So if you're talking about someone on salary today, we would train up. Yes. I just want to make sure I know what we've done with the Friends has probably been like the best we could do at that time. Right. But I think we're truly trying to let the community use the space. Like, I just worry about the legal implications. Like, I don't even know if what our insurance would cover if there's someone there who's not getting paid and they're attending their own event. And so I just want to make sure we do it in the right way where we're not opening
No, that's
ourselves
fair.
up to risk.
I mean, security issues and, we can't really block off the whole library. And so, or if there's a medical emergency, obviously they call somebody, but you're still in the library building. And so I think the town would potentially be,
Maybe we should bring that up then with the town administrator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to be like such a
no,
dad
and I
on
think
that.
it's good to
You're
talk
actually
about
on
it.
the- on
So
the right track.
if we establish a policy, so in the future we know well in advance, like what is the acceptable protocol? Because this has been the protocol since 2 directors ago. So
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
can I
Moving.
just ask one question? So the concert. So is the concert at the library on the 20th, or is it at a different location?
It is on the common.
On the common.
If it is nice weather, if it is raining, it will be in the community rooms.
Okay, and is that at 7 p.m. or what?
12. It's
12.
12
Oh,
to
it's at
one
noon.
site, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next we have proposed meeting dates. So,
Doug, I want to mention that I noticed on the closure schedule that I sent out for January, it should be 2027, so not 26.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Okay. I just reviewed the dates. I think they kind of align with what we're doing this year, so I'm okay with these current dates. And I'm ready to make a motion
Are we talking
just
about the meetings for us or the closure of the
for
library?
us. Meetings
Okay.
for us. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean they're basically all the third Wednesday, right?
yeah,
Or fourth Wednesday. I mean, sorry.
except for the movement of November, December.
Right.
The
Okay.
week before. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the Board of Library Trustees meeting dates for the calendar year 2026.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
I have a quick discussion item. The April meeting is the fourth one, but it also falls on April break. And
That's
I
what
believe
I was going to say as well.
this year we
yes.
had some questions, like people had conflicts, so I don't know if we want to move it to the third.
Yeah, I mean it is school vacation break, so I don't know if that.
I think we ended up meeting successfully, and but you're right. I mean, it might be difficult to have a quorum, but we generally, we have 7 people. A few of us have kids in school, I think, but
Yeah, I'm typically gone.
Yeah, you are usually gone.
even though I don't have a kid in school.
Yeah.
But I have a teacher, a wife
Yes.
in school, wife and a teacher, whatever.
I can say that I'll be planning on being away as well.
Yeah.
If we could adjust it, I would prefer that because, my daughter only has 2 years left in high school. So.
Sure.
Do we want to just push it to the April 29th?
Yeah. or
Yeah,
the
that
third.
would be great. Yeah, if we could do that.
Is that,
Okay.
how many, wait, 22nd? Is that the third,
April 29th.
That would be the
Yeah,
fifth.
eighth?
Yeah, that
Would that be the
7.
5th? So do we want to meet the third
Either
Wednesday?
one works, either before or after.
feel
I
like there was
don't want to
some-
meet on tax day. You can, but
So the 15th or the 29th?
I'm okay with the 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so motion made and amended to change April 22nd to 29th.
I had one other question for discussion. The May 27th date, I remember when I started that there was concern about the meeting date being too close to the actual date of like the election. And I'm assuming that this is late enough, but I couldn't instantly find the 2026.
It definitely is later. It's because May elections are the beginning of the month.
They're usually
so
the first or second week.
Because I was the
Yeah.
23rd is when I actually got
Sworn in.
sworn in. And I think the results were on the 22nd or something. So it was on the, anyway, I assume this is late enough, but it might just be something we want to
Yeah.
check.
I would be okay approving this and then we can make an adjustment
That's fine.
as needed.
Yep.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, by roll call,
Boy,
Rachel, I.
boy.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris,
I declare the motion carried. Library draft closure schedule. I didn't check making sure that the days and the dates matched, but they looked like it's just mimics last year's.
Yeah, and the 16th, that professional development day is the week before the April school vacation week, so
Right.
that's okay.
Okay. Kim, do you have some context on how this was kind of put together? Is it kind of like Doug said? We looked at what was done previously, so
Exactly right.
no big changes.
With the exception of that last one, it should be 27.
Yeah.
She's gonna worry.
So I think sometimes there's questions about, well, is a long weekend, we should close the library on Saturday, for the staff. And sometimes they like that and they've requested that of the library board where they would close the library without pay to have the long weekend. That hasn't come up in a while, but I do remember it came up quite often. I don't know if anybody else recalls.
No, we have, I know that. I would guess that was around Thanksgiving or Christmas.
The Labor Day one is unpaid.
Yeah, so I can't comment to what those were, but
But the staff have seen this?
Yes, I had a
Okay.
couple people look at it, and I pretty much put the unpaid where it was for the previous year.
okay, great.
And the union was good with it too. I don't know if the union has to look at that. Union's fine, okay.
You just have to check the contract that there's not a conflict of any of it,
Okay.
but I think that's.
Okay.
I can take a look at it, but.
It was in the meeting.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the Grafton Public Library 2026 closing dates with the amending of the date for Friday, January 1st should be 2027 for New Year's Day.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, by roll call,
Boy,
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris,
I declare the motion carried. Thank you. We have like a minute for 9 o'clock. Public input. We do have public. Welcome. Thank you for coming and joining our 2 hours of fun. Do you have any comments or questions or? No? Great. We have next meetings. I think we already mentioned the Friends. Are you going to do the policy subcommittee on September 3rd?
I'll reach out to Kim to try to figure out a date because my schedule is very packed tight in September.
Okay.
In addition, I won't be at the next trustee meeting because I'm taking a class, and I have to meet at 7 o'clock every Wednesday for the next 8 weeks or so.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means we'll have to pause some of the policy discussions, but and even put some of the policies on the agenda. I don't know. I'll have to work that out. Maybe with you, Doug.
Yep.
We'll have to talk about what we want on the agenda if I'm not going to be here, or maybe I can get a pass for my class for that
Right.
night.
Yeah, or probably can.
Yeah,
on behalf
or
of the
yeah, that would be
committee.
great if somebody else could.
Or
also.
Rachel, one of us can do it.
Yeah, because any policies that I'm putting in front of the committee, anyways, I'm going to approve them. Right now, so you got my vote even if I'm not here. So
Okay.
yeah.
Great. I guess I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
Motion made and seconded by roll call.
Or aye.
Rachel, I.
Roger, I.
Doug, aye.
Carrie, I.
Aaron, I.
Chris, aye.
I declare the motion carried. And we are adjourned as of 9:01 p.m.
Exactly 2 hours.
Yes.
That was
Good night.
sweeter than I thought.
I know we didn't get